Hey guys, it's me Josh, just making this video I'm probably going to make it a vlog series or maybe once a week video, I don't know, but this has been on my heart for a while and I just thought I'd let you know that I am 27, turning 28 this year, and I have high functioning autism, or what you would call Aspergers, and basically this has affected me my entire life, from being fixated on subjects and ideas, social difficulties, devotion to routine, focusing on myself, my emotional sensitivities, and my problems with processing physical sensations. Like my emotional sensitivity, sometimes I can struggle to control my emotions the same way as people who can control their emotions. Like, for example, if something like, I can pretty much get upset and not know why I'm upset. Just it can come in and it can hit me out of the blue sometimes, and I don't know how to process it. I even get feelings of anxiety or depression or just certain other feelings. Like it's not the best. It's not fun. But another thing that affects me is like fixating on things or ideas. For example, I work at Domino's as a delivery expert. I have been fixated on the idea of wanting to be in management for a long time now. And that fixation has taken control of my life somewhat, to the point where I got arrogant and everything, and it was not a good time for me. But I do still get my fixations today, but they're not as bad as they were. I also have, social difficulties, like most people with Aspergers and autism do. Part of my social difficulties is that I have problems with sharing sometimes. Like, I can overshare, I can undershare. I also have problems interacting with my peers. Like, sometimes I can say something that is just not thinking, that can make someone feel uncomfortable, and I'm just not aware of what I've done. Like, I need everyone to understand that just because you're talking to someone who's a high functioning autistic / Asperger's person doesn't mean that we're like you, doesn't mean that we always know what's going on, doesn't mean that we're aware of how things we say and do affect you, because we're not really up there with all the social cues. We can teach ourselves all we want, but in the end, it's really up to us to ask for help, but it's also up to you guys to... it is up to us to ask for help. And sometimes it's difficult to ask for that help because we don't want to feel bad. We just think we can do everything by ourselves and think, this is socially appropriate. Whereas I've had problems with people's boundaries, and it's just, sometimes I've just crossed a boundary without even realizing it, and it's really ended up affecting my friendships and relationships sometimes, and it's not the best, and I don't know what else to say, but yeah. So I can also have, sometimes I can't process physical sensations like noises. Sometimes I just get noise overload and it just sends me off the deep end. It makes me really anxious. It affects me to no extent, and it's not the best, let's be honest. Like, sometimes even physical touch, if my guard is not up and I'm just not focused at all, physical touch, it really affects my life, and it's not the best. Like, I've been through a lot of stuff which has caused me a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, but I have tried to come through the other side. But still, being very sensitive to loud noises and sometimes to even smells or even tastes, it can be really hard on me sometimes. Also, I notice that when I'm not in a routine, my life just is not exactly the best, and I have nothing to focus on unless I'm setting myself a routine. Right now, I am in the process of getting myself back into a routine, and yeah, so that's really all I can say on that, because it's not really much I can say, but basically anyone, even high-functioning autism or Aspergers or whatever you want to call it, even we need routines. Even if they're set by other people, even if you just give us the time limits, we will adhere to them and follow them, because that's what we need. It's part of our lives, and it makes life a lot more easier, especially in the workplace. Like, I've got my routine at work. I come in, I sign in, I put my car topper on my car, I start working, and there's a whole process to that. And that's why I love working at my job, because it's got me in a great routine. Moving on. So basically, as all people with Asperger's, high functioning autism, we generally tend to either get angry or have an outburst about change, because when something's going on and something changes, we generally tend to not like it, but because it's a change that happens straight away instead of it just gradually happening over time. And that can be very difficult for us. Like, it's just something that we just cannot handle without it being broken down and being like, this is going to be okay. The change is good. It's going to be good. Let's help you to focus on that. Because a lot of people say, just gradually over time. Yes, that is good. Gradually over time is good for people with high functioning autism. But also at the same time too, what would also help is not just the gradual changing, but also helping us to break down why things need to change and why they need to change. Sometimes I understand that sometimes that can't happen, but it's better to nip this in the bud early on, like help your children with autism to understand that, and just slowly get them there, help them to process it, because it's all about processing when it comes to change, and it's not easy, I can tell you that. I remember when I was in primary school and it always came to the end of the year, I'd always play up, because it's coming to the end of the year, things were changing, and I just didn't like it. It's gotten easier for me it's gotten easier for me over time, but I still don't like change. I'm getting there. I just still don't like it. Now, also too, one of the last points I want to focus on is sometimes whenever I'm talking to people, I can just focus on myself so much that they don't even get a chance to talk. And yeah, that's what a lot of high functioning autistic people suffer from as well. It's like focusing on themselves and talking to their peers or to their friends and family or co-workers and just talking about themselves, not letting them have a chance. I myself have started noticing this lately, and I've been working on that. So whenever I'm talking to a friend, I always start with asking them how they are, and I just generally try and have a conversation with them. Now, I'm not the sort of person who was able to learn this part by myself. A lot of these things I've been helped through with my mum and with a lot of other people in my lives. I'm very grateful for what they've done and been able to help me in this process. And another thing I suffer from is anxiety and depression. I can't really describe this one, but it affects my life in a negative way. It's not the best. Like, I'm always fighting off my depressive thoughts, like, oh, what if they don't like me and everything. I'm always overthinking these things. It's a part of my life, but I'm not letting it control me. I want to... For the past 13 to 15 years of my life, I have been getting to know myself, my anxiety triggers, and my autism triggers. And I have been working with them so that they don't have a massive role in my life. I've been trying to build up relationships. I've been learning about boundaries. I've been learning to put accountability in, especially when I'm talking to my friends, like say, hey, if I'm crossing a line, let me know, because I don't know some of these things sometimes, and I ask for help. Like, my life is not easy. No one's life is, but life with high functioning autism is not the best either. Yes, I can read, write, and all that other stuff better than most other people, or better, a lot better than low functioning autistic people, but it doesn't make much a difference. The only difference is I can do these things to a higher level than they can. It doesn't mean that our disabilities are the same, because they're not. To me, I want to use this disability as a gift to be able to educate people, not just about my life, but about how to help someone, not help someone, but how to interact with someone who has Asperger's and who has high functioning autism. And yeah, so that's just a brief summary and a brief look into my life, and I'm hoping to do more soon. Peace out, love you all.